Are you still in there? Or has something taken your place? You blink. You scroll. You obey a pattern you didn't design. And you tell yourself, that's just life. But it's not. That's code. Not thought, not choice, not soul, just automation. You wake up, reach for your phone without thinking, open an app you didn't mean to, respond to a notification you didn't want. And you think, I chose this. But did you? Or is the loop running and you're just playing your part? Now hear this carefully. Long before smartphones, before screens, before apps or algorithms, the fear of becoming an automaton was already real. It was already a problem. But it wasn't a problem of machines, because the machines didn't exist yet. So what does that tell you? It tells you that technology isn't the cause. It's the scapegoat. A convenient mask. An external villain we can blame, instead of confronting our own mind's complacency. Instead of admitting we surrendered the controls a long time ago. You're not addicted to your phone. You're addicted to unconsciousness. You've outsourced your attention, delegated your choices. Let your mind become a stage for someone else's script. And you call that freedom? No, that's automation. You were sleepwalking before the algorithm knew your name. Technology didn't make you this way. It just refined the process, smoothed the dopamine delivery, digitized the trance. You don't need a screen to be programmed. You just need a pattern, a trigger, a story you've never questioned. So I'll ask again. Are you still in there? Or are you just running the code? Let's cut through the noise. The enemy was never the screen. It was the one holding it. Asleep. Numb. Predictable. You think this is about phones? About tech? No. This is about you. Handing over your mind. You didn't start scrolling when apps were invented. You started long before. Same thoughts. Same triggers. Same knee-jerk reactions. Just without the glow. So listen closely. Because the moment you hear this, something starts to crack. Are you really the one thinking? Or is something else thinking you? A script, maybe. A voice that sounds like yours but isn't. A reflex that wears your name like a mask. Even in the 1920s, a century before smartphones, people knew something was wrong. Not with machines, but with themselves. The Sufi mystic Gurdjieff looked around and saw a species on autopilot, sleepwalking through routine, reacting without awareness, living like ghosts inside predictable meat. So he built rituals of disobedience, not to rebel against society, but to rebel against unconsciousness itself. The whirling dervishes, those strange, spiraling movements. They weren't dance. They were disruption, friction. A way to break the motor patterns that kept the soul asleep. He made his students suffer, confuse themselves, contradict their own behavior, until something woke up behind the eyes. Because here's what he knew. You can't think your way out of a trance. You have to shock the loop, jolt the body, break the mind's symmetry. And the most terrifying part? It works. Because your unconscious is wide open. Always has been. Suggestible, programmable, ready to be farmed by the world or by you. You want to know why modern tech feels like sorcery? Because it is. A sorcery of repetition, of algorithmic precision, of dopamine puppetry. Feeding your default mode network exactly what it craves. Patterns, predictions, comfort, and that comfort is the cage. You think you're choosing. You're not. You're reacting. You scroll without intention. You breathe without noticing. You think without asking who's thinking. That's not awareness. That's a script. And every time you obey it, you reinforce it. But there is a doorway here. Not in some monastery, not in a mountain cave. Right here, in your nervous system. Awareness is not passive. It's not something you have. It's something you do. It's ritual. It's confrontation. It's choice, made again and again, in the face of everything that wants you numb. So you're here, still listening. And that means something in you is still alive, still watching, still willing to resist the program. You don't need to understand the whole path yet. You just need to interrupt the first loop. You're not a machine. But you've been living like one. Let's change that. Let's not lie to ourselves. Technology gave us reach. It gave us knowledge. It gave us the illusion of connection, scaled and streamlined. But look closer. It didn't just scale your voice. It scaled your distraction, your loneliness, your self-deletion. You used to waste time in the world, not perfectly, not mindfully, but viscerally. Awkward silences, strange eye contact, conversations that went nowhere or changed your life. Boredom that made you restless enough to move. Now, you waste it in perfect loops, scrolling through curated noise, interfacing with symbols instead of sensations, tapping glass instead of touching skin. There's no chaos here, no friction, just clean feedback, just soulless precision, disguised as freedom. You used to waste time with other bodies. Now you waste it with predictive ghosts. You trigger dopamine not through life, but through metrics, loops, and false mirrors. And your nervous system? It's not coping. It's being harvested, farmed. Every notification, every red bubble, every little heart is a leash. A chemical leash. Your reward system designed to push you toward survival, toward meaning, has been rewired to chase shadows, to chase data, to chase fake connection in a ritual of digital mimicry. You are paying rent in attention, and they're collecting every second. The cost? Connection. Reprogrammed. Not erased, just replicated. Love. Distilled into metrics. Belonging. Rerouted through notifications. Real emotion wired into a feedback loop. And the hardest part. Sometimes it is connection. Sometimes it's real. The late-night message that saves someone. The stranger who sees you clearer than your own family. But even then, the system knows how to package it, how to mine it, how to make intimacy feel like a product and turn belonging into currency. It's not that the connection isn't real. It's that the ritual around it has been hijacked. And unless you see that, you'll confuse the echo for the origin, the pattern for the presence, the platform for the person. There's truth here, but the machine wants to own it. This isn't an attack on technology. It's a warning about how quickly the sacred gets inverted, because anything that can amplify awareness can also amplify unconsciousness. But what if I told you there's a way out? A way to reclaim your mind, to break the spell, to wake up, not as an idea, but as a force. There are rituals that can shatter the loop, tools that cut deeper than distraction, practices that don't just unplug you, they reprogram you. But before we open that door, you need to hear this. Because the path isn't what you think, and most who chase awakening are just falling asleep in a different costume. Awakening is not a badge. It's not a title. It's not an aesthetic. And it's not permanent. You weren't always awake. And you won't always stay that way. The mind drifts. That's what it does. It returns to sleep like water seeks the lowest place. You can feel it even now. The pull to scroll, to yawn, to check out. That's not failure. It's gravity. So be careful. Because the moment you start thinking, I'm awake and they're not, you've already started dreaming again. That's not clarity. That's ego in new clothes. A spiritual automaton, dressed in white, burning sage, quoting Rumi, and just as asleep as the one chasing likes. New Age cults and wellness gurus dream just as deeply. They just wear crystals while doing it. Consciousness isn't binary. It oscillates. It flickers. It slips. It returns when you call it, and fades when you stop. There are no chosen ones. Only those who choose again. And again, and again. So don't judge. You were once asleep. You still fall back. And so will they. The work is not in being better. It's in staying aware. And the moment you start building superiority, you've already exited the ritual. You are not here to feel above others. You are here to remember and to remind. Not to preach, to practice. Because in the end, you're not either awake or asleep. You are the act of waking. And now, if you're ready, we begin. This is not a message. It's a rescue. 3 doors, 3 rituals. Breath, thought, body. Choose them, and you begin the return. Number 1. Breath. The breath is the first doorway. Always here. Always ignored. You've heard the terms. Breath work. Kriya. Deep breathing. Techniques with names. Traditions with structure. All of them useful. But for now, forget the technique. Return to the sensation. Take a breath and feel it. Not in your chest, not in your lungs. Feel the place where air becomes life. Can you sense it? That silent moment. When oxygen becomes bloodstream, when breath becomes energy. That's the threshold. And just before the exhale, there's a pause. A stillness. You don't force it, you don't hold it. You just notice it. The breath is not just air. It's awareness disguised as rhythm. Each inhale, a choice that is not a choice. Each exhale, a letting go. And in between, a space. That space is where the automaton breaks, where something ancient returns. Where you stop performing and start inhabiting. Your breath is the metronome of awareness. If you listen long enough, you'll begin to remember who's really breathing you. Number 2. Thought. Now, what about the mind? Thought feels like the most personal thing we have. But that's the trick. Most of your thoughts aren't yours. They're echoes, scripts, reflexes wearing the mask of reason. The mind speaks, and you obey. It feels like free will. But what if it's just well-dressed programming? So ask this. Who is the one observing this thought? Who's watching it come and watching it go? Where is the edge of your awareness? Try to find it. Trace it. Chase it. You won't. Because it's not an object. It's a process. A mystery dressed in logic. The moment you observe thought as thought, you loosen the grip. You step out of the script. Not to silence the mind, but to stop confusing it with truth. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one who hears it. And when you know that, you stop reacting to every fear it throws at you. You stop obeying every command disguised as identity. This is not philosophy. This is ritual. Because every time you ask the impossible question, you weaken the loop. Your mind is not a mirror. It's a spell book. And thought, when left unconscious, casts default reality. But when questioned, it becomes raw material. For story, for symbol, for sovereignty. Number 3, the body. The final gate. The one most people abandon first. You were trained to treat it like a machine. Fuel it. Push it. Ignore it. Scroll through life from the neck up. But the body is not a container. It's a language. And you've forgotten how to speak it. Try this. Move differently. Break your rhythm. Stand like a stranger would. Walk like the air around you is watching. Move like every step rewrites your identity. Let your body glitch the loop. Slow everything down by half. And notice what twitches. Gurdjieff called this the friction of awareness. Strange movements, coordinated chaos. Unfamiliar shapes designed to short-circuit habit. Not to look good, to feel real. Because when you move in a way that isn't automatic, something wakes up. A part of you that isn't interested in comfort, isn't optimized for efficiency, just presence. The body forgets it's awake until you make it speak in tongues. And when it does, your awareness sinks out of the story and back into sensation, into heat, into pulse, into the ancient rhythm beneath the performance. Your body isn't separate from your mind. It is your mind, rendered in motion. And every time you move with intention, you're writing a new line of code. A new loop. One you chose. You won't stay awake forever. No one does. The loop will call you back. The scroll will seduce. The hum of the machine will whisper like it always does. Just one more. Just a second. Just a glance. And maybe you'll obey. Maybe you'll forget everything we said. But maybe, just before the trance pulls you under, you'll remember something. The breath. The watcher. The friction in your bones. You'll catch yourself. Not with shame, but with presence. Because awakening isn't permanent. It's a pulse. A pattern. A choice, and now you know how to choose. Not because you were told, but because you felt it. Because you broke the loop, if only for a moment, and saw what was hiding behind the script. You, the one who listens, the one who watches, the one who waits in stillness, ready to return when called. And if that part of you is still here, then the ritual worked. If something shifted in you, leave a mark below. Not for me, for the version of you who might forget. Write it down so you can find your way back when the loop returns. And when the next ritual arrives, you'll feel it. You'll know. Because the part of you that's waking up isn't going back to sleep. Until next time.